The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
The role of a woman in the society is to submit. Birth control are the pills of the devil. Education is so fundamental to the development of a people. I'm murderous. Simple as that. What am I voting for? Voting will change nothing.
Tout le monde haïtien, como ye. God save the Queen. Freedom!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and of course, I'm a member of the local Catholic Christian community. I'm honored to welcome the thousands of people here on the island of New Providence and across the world who is either watching me via television and Facebook. Well, last night was an interesting night at the Opposition Progressive Liberal Party convention. The last child of the founding father of the modern Bahamas, Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinling, Monique Pinling Johnson, she addressed the convention, and when it was all over, I went off into the spirit, and as she criticized the PLP, I saw her husband. I saw Daniel Dumfries Johnson, the incompetent member of parliament for Carmichael. He is the MP who could not be sent back to the PLP. And I found it interesting that Mrs. Monique Johnson did not straighten out her husband. Monique, your criticism of the PLP is right, but you need to particularize it and personalize it and call out your husband. He was the minister. He won a whole seat, but what did he do? He pussyfooted, he didn't perform, and he gave the PLP a bad name. As you spoke, I said, my God, she's criticizing her husband, Daniel Dumfries Johnson. Then, of course, the newspaper's exciting. Dr. Menes had something to say about Frankie citizenship, and guess who joined the bandwagon? The Attorney General, the Honorable Senator Carl Bettel. When I returned, I got one or two scuds to fire after the Attorney General. And then, of course, I shall tell you that as a result of the Prime Minister's attack, he sent me back into the archives. And I want everybody to be told and to be warned. It is my intention to prove my case, and I couldn't give 2 cents who falls in the march to show that Frankie Alfred Campbell need to be naturalized. We need to make him a citizen because by grab, he has not produced any evidence to prove his citizenship. When I return, I shall ask Frankie a question. Oh boy, I can't wait to ask this question. Man, the debate is juicy, eh? I can't believe that the Prime Minister would commit to Frankie's citizenship without doing the proper research. And I can't believe Carl Bettel could be so stupid. When I come back, it is the grassroots man against the learned Attorney General, and we shall see who will win this war. It is a battle for sovereignty.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker, and I welcome you to Freedom March. Last night, I attended the first opening night of the official opposition Progressive Liberal Party convention. And in the course of the evening, I had a wonderful time as I greeted the women them who are stalwart counselors and delegates to this convention. But the hot topic was an address made by the last child of founding father Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinling, and that was Deason Monique Pinling Johnson, the wife of the late Oscar Johnson, the former Cat Island Member of Parliament's son, Carmichael, former MP, Daniel Dumfries Johnson. And as Mrs. Monique Pinling Johnson criticized the PLP, I went off in the spirit to see who this speech fitted. And I must tell you, because I'm a man who will speak truth to power, as she described the greed, the corruption, and the bad ways of the PLP, I saw her husband, Daniel Dumfries Johnson, the former member of Carmichael. Listen to what I thought she meant as she criticized the PLP, because politics at all material time is personal. And this fit Johnson. I regret it that when he was elected in 2012, decent Monique Pinling Johnson did not manage her husband in efficient leadership in Carmichael. This is what she says. The Progressive Liberal Party allowed the political ambitions of a few men to dash the political aspirations of a whole people, and the party became overcome with envy, consumed with jealousy, and stung with greed. Monique Pinling charged last night. Pinling is the youngest child of the late former Prime Minister Sir Lyndon Pinling and Governor General Dame Margaret Pinling. Speaking to a room of PLPs during the party's first night of convention, Monique Pinling Johnson said, who was the keynote speaker, said that the PLP is broken, weak, arrogant, and dishonest. She charged that while the party can rebel and rise again, it must acknowledge its faults and correct them. Her stinging critique of the party nearly 6 months after the general election was swift and direct. In my opinion, says Monique Pinling Johnson, many of us forgot how to treat people. She told party delegates at the Melia Nassau Beach Hotel on Cable Beach, we made promises. That's Danny, her husband. My God, Monique, you're saying it too late. You should have told your husband to do what your father say. Put people's first. And so this criticism of the PLP does not make sense until you put a name and a picture to the character. And everything here smacks of her husband. The people of Carmichael, they wanted to see Danny Dumfries Johnson. And my God, he used the image of the Pendlings, because had it not been for the Pendling family, he would not have gotten the nomination. But he got the nomination, and they failed. Monique, you failed to manage Danny. You got to do that. You got to manage the political man in your family. My wife has managed me sometimes, not all the time, because I don't do nonsense. But this is an indictment of political wives who fail to say to their husband, husband, you are performing almost if you have no political principle. So I support her in a criticism of the PLP specifically. But my God, you would have done a better job if you had identified the gross inefficiency and incompetence of your husband. It's straight talk here on Freedom March. So that is as much as I wanted to say. Okay? As much as I wanted to say on that matter. Well, folks, today I expect to be joined by the taxi drivers and Brother Jacks in the last hour of the show, because they are having problems, and I will speak to them in the last hour. 1 year ago, Brother Jacks joined me on Freedom March on radio. So that is what is taking place here. Now, Dr. Hubert Minnis has to be careful. And I regret that I do not have my manifesto so that I can turn to page 14 so that Lisa Johnson of the United States Embassy can see that she is in the manifesto, because I need to talk to her so that she may know that in the Bahamas we are running a gangster society, Lisa. And I already tell you to tell President Trump that when every American comes to the Bahamas, you better check our passport good. Don't mind what these Negroes are telling you. Check it. Frankie Alfred Campbell, he says that he's going to meet somebody in court. And of course, we had the Prime Minister. He says that Frankie is as Bahamian as he is. And then we had the stupidity of Attorney General Carl Bettel telling the country that there are thousands of people who are in a similar position as Frankie. Carl, you're an Attorney General. You're a brown-skinned man. Stop being stupid. Okay? Those thousands of Bahamians are people who you say are in a similar position as Frankie. The only difference is they do not sit in the parliament. They are sitting in a corner, and they're sitting small until they seek a nomination. But in the case of Frankie, I got the facts, I got the facts. And that is why I've been telling the Bahamian people I need $5,000 so that I can hold an exhibition and you can come. It is interesting to note. And I put to Frankie, who is Johnson Campbell? Ha! Who is Johnson Campbell? That is very important to note, because I can prove that Edwin Campbell was born in Haiti. I can prove it. Don't mind menacing them, they are politically dishonest. They are politically dishonest. I got the document, found right here in the Bahamas. I got it. Got it. All right? But the issue is not whether or not Edwin is Frankie Daddy. The question that is asked, whether or not Frankie was born in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and he's not been able for the last 33 years or more to produce a document that will confirm that he was born in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. In a document, Edwin Johnson the man whom Frankie say is his daddy, has admitted that he was born in Haiti. There's nothing wrong with him being born in Haiti. The point that we make is that Frankie has not been able to produce any documents demonstrating that he was born in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That is all we demand, you know. A passport is not conclusive evidence of citizenship. A voter's card is not conclusive evidence of citizenship. And Carl Bettel, you got sense. All you have to do is look at the case, the election case involving the former Attorney General, Alison Maynard, and some other Negro, who the FNM candidate was in the 2007 election. But Menace is free to cover up for Frankie. I ain't got no problem with that. All I want President Trump to know that we are issuing passports and we are not sure who we are issuing it to. And that constitutes not only a national security threat for the Bahamas, but a national security threat for the United States of America. You may go 1 year and apply for a Bahamian passport, and it is granted to you. 5 years later, when you reapply, and they ask for further and better particulars, and if you are not able to produce that information, notwithstanding your claim that you are a citizen of the Bahamas, you will not be granted a new passport unless you satisfied them. And I say that on the premise that there's no corruption, there's no skullduggery, there's no bribery. Because we had a passport officer who had a shop in the passport office. He had 2 receipt books, one for the government and one for him. And his backside was sent to jail. That is a reality. That is not a figment of my imagination. And when we look at the question of voter's card, you might be granted a voter's card this election, but as they tighten up on the rules and as they further interpret the election laws, they ask for better documents. And notwithstanding your claim that you are a citizen of the Bahamas, if you do not produce that document, you will not get your voter's card. There's no doubt about it. And I have the evidence, all right? And I could show you the bunch of lies that the FNM is prepared to perpetrate in order to protect the minister, Frankie Campbell. All right? Minister does not have an appreciation of the law. And he's never argued a case in the Supreme Court. He's never. So I'm not listening to him, but I'm disappointed that Carl Bettel has failed to maintain an objectivity in this matter by keeping his mouth closed. Because when this matter goes to court, as Attorney General, he will become a party to the action. And I say, by him opening his mouth in a stupid manner, he has demonstrated that he is professionally immoral. Carl, you are professionally immoral. You should not take sides because you are who? The attorney for the country. Because what Menace is doing, using Frankie and the controversy surrounding him, he's attempting to enter the back door to undermine June 7, 2016 gender equality referendum, when the question was put to the Bahamian people on questions and issues pertaining to citizenship, and we resoundingly rejected it. But Menace, you believe you smart, but I want you to know that there's a God. And God is in the midst of it. And the Bahamian people are watching you. We have the evidence. So Frankie, the question for you is, who is Johnson Campbell? Who is Johnson Campbell? And to Jeff Lloyd, let me tell you something. I am prepared to produce all evidence available to me. And I want you to think twice, because this threatens to undermine our very system and to implicate institutions that should not be implicated, because I have the documents and I shall march on, notwithstanding the fact that the FNM is practicing what I call gangsterism. We had this experience before when Pinling faced with a similar situation involving Sinclair Oughton. Pinling went to the high ground as Menace and Carl Bettel go to the toilet, go to the low ground, go to, my God, they've gone low when they can see that Frankie has not demonstrated the evidence to show qualification to be in the Honorable House of Assembly, and it is a simple matter. Tell Frankie to resign and give him citizenship. And that's it. And then you can nominate him. But for the government to support this level of abuse of citizenship is a national disgrace. And it calls for those Bahamians who believe in sovereignty to rise up peacefully and march against Menace, the Attorney General, and Frankie, because we have it. And Frankie, who is Johnson Campbell? Who is Johnson Campbell? Can Frankie tell me? It's a very easy answer. Who is Johnson Campbell? I got the information. I don't care what minutes say. I'll read his statement. Perhaps after I would have interviewed Brother Jacks, who I'm told must return to work. So, I have to accommodate him because he is my colleague in the revolution. But my God, look what is going on here. Ministers are trying to cover up, and Carl Bettel is acting professionally immoral. Carl, I'm disappointed in you. You should not have been the Attorney General. You are a picky-teeth Montabi. You're nothing about a frying pan with black collie on it. Lord, forgive me for cursing out Carl Bettel, because when I was in need, he came to my rescue. Lord, forgive me for cursing out Carl Bettel, because when I was in need, he came to my rescue. But for political power, he is prepared to subvert justice and to stab her in her most vital parts. Carl, release justice and take that knife out of her. This is Freedom March. Be right back after the break.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. Thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. I have two special guests from Linden Pinlings Airport, and they refer to themselves as Concerned Airport Association, taxi drivers. And so, to my extreme right, I wish to welcome Mr. Tyrone Butler. Mr. Butler, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you very much, Mr. Monker. It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon on such a wonderful show as yours.
And then, of course, I have my colleague in the revolution, Brother Nicola Jacks. Jacks, sac passe.
Nabule.
That is powerful.
Saga Fair.
Oh, Jacques, please. I don't want everybody to know that me and you are Haitian because menace might catch us. And I don't know if you could run.
I can't run. I can't do much running.
You can't do much running. So, men, you all are cab drivers. You all are working at Lyndon Oscar Pendling's airport. Am I correct?
That's correct, sir.
Yeah.
And you all are the cab drivers who are the descendants of those great cab drivers who in 1958, faced with a similar problem, closed down the airport. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, what is the problem today? Who will go first?
Okay, I'll lead it off. Since you went back as far as 1958, cab drivers were highly respected and seen as ambassadors to this country. Up until 92, it seems as if it was a calculated effort to push cab drivers to the bottom of the barrel. Okay, we being pushed further and further to the bottom by government and successive governments. And what I mean by this, they have allowed big conglomerates like Bahama, Atlantis, Ocean Club, Sandals to enter the transportation business.
What do you mean by that?
Well, they have their own transportation to transport their people to and from their hotel.
That cannot be true, Brother Jacks. I've always known you to be an honest man, but that cannot be true.
Well, I'm telling you it's true. Sandals have Rolls Royce that collects their people at the airport.
And what is the taxi drivers doing to prevent it?
Well, we are up to here with that now, and we decide to do something now, particularly after NAD trying to levy $1 on us.
Who's NAD?
Nassau Development. It's in charge of the management of Sir Lyndon Pendling Airport. I think they call Nassau Airport Development Company.
What kind of Negroes are they?
Well, I'm not sure they are Negroes working for them, but they actually is a Canadian company who manages the Sir Lyndon Pendling Airport. And they're trying to levy $1 on us, and we don't intend to pay it.
Okay.
Because NAD, which is the Nassau Airport Development Company, have been charging us $19.50, I think, for a decal already that opens the gate.
What is decal?
It's a decal that sticks on our windshield that triggers the gate. And when it triggers the gate, you enter to get your job or enter the recreation parking lot.
So they charge you $19?
Yes.
Okay.
And so we are going to resist this. They're going to meet that with great resistance. We plan, that's what our plans are.
Okay.
And we're not going to pay it because the former Minister of Transport told them,
Who's the former minister?
Mrs. Glenys Hanna Martin,
Okay, what did she say?
she told them not to do that 4 years ago when they first tried to
She
levy
told NAD.
NAD,
The minister told NAD.
Yes.
Not to charge y'all. Right?
the $1 fee to enter the parking lot to be able to get a fare.
Did they carry out the wishes of the minister?
Yes, they did. But in our view, we feel that NAD should be paying us the $1 since we service in their airport.
Okay.
But they don't see it. They don't see it from that point of view. Okay, and so, but nevertheless, like I said, we have been pushed further and further to the bottom of the barrel because everybody want to cut in on our income now.
Butler, what are your views on this issue?
Well, I'm also of the same view as Mr. Jackson. That is the process and the concept that NAD came up with, where they wanted to charge for these transponders, as they call them, for us to access the airport facility to collect a fare.
My God.
And as he
The
said earlier,
taxi men are weightless.
yeah. So what happened
Are
is
y'all weightless?
but
You mean to tell me this when I come back on the line? That's what I gotta come to face?
yeah.
Goodness of mercy, Lord!
You see, Brother Monka, as Brother Jack said, we did engage the former minister on this matter, and they'd rejected it. What I suspect has happened since the last election is that NAD representative through Mrs. Walking and Mrs. Colby went to the new minister,
Who's the new minister?
Minister Campbell, I believe.
But don't worry about him. I soon get rid of him.
So what they
Because he's not a citizen.
what they would have done is they would have repackaged the same concept to the new minister without investigating and looking at the matter thoroughly and engaging all stakeholders, including the cab drivers, to...
You mean to tell me Frankie Campbell didn't check y'all out?
No, he never had a meeting with the whole airport stakeholders.
What time is it?
It's the people's time.
What time is it?
It's the people's time.
I guess.
We found ourselves in a position where now the same concept that NAD had approached the former government with, they have repackaged it to the new government.
And the new government accept it?
And they have accepted it for what we, you know what is...
Jacks, you must say you know FNMA.
But Brother Manka, let me just, you know, what is really disturbing is that you have a controller of road traffic, Mr. Ross Smith. We had a meeting with the representative from NAD along with Mr. Ross Smith. And in that meeting, it was so disheartening to hear two leading representatives, one from NAD and one from the controller's office, who couldn't even get their story straight. NAD was saying they had already met with the minister who had approved this concept. The controller of road traffic said in the very same meeting 5 minutes later, nothing is going to be final. The minister has made no decision on the matter. And then, you know, a week later, we understand now that the concept is going to go through where...
Butler, who's your MP?
Well, my MP currently now, who is representing the Foxhill constituency is Chanel Ferguson.
Well, I say Foxhill! Have you been to see her?
Well, I'll go one step further. I've been to see the former minister, and he didn't even do nothing. So what make you think the new minister...
The former minister was voted out.
Well, that's true, too. Yeah.
What time is it?
It's the people's time.
Have you been to see the woman?
I will do that.
Goodness of mercy, you always do that. You Foxhill.
But, you know, I absolutely agree with you, Mr. Manka. But what is really disheartening is that to know that, as you started out talking earlier about the 1958, I can honestly say with clarity and with all conviction that is something that is likely to be repeated in the very near future.
I don't think you all have the nuts.
Oh, I don't think you don't.
I don't think you all have the kahuna.
I don't think you know the taxi drivers on the line to this day.
Those men? I know them. I don't even speak to them.
Mr. Manka, I can tell you there's a dedicated group of men and women that I work with at that airport, and they have a lot of what you call nuts, and they are ready to go to the streets. And I think that is something that you will see happen sooner rather than later. And this new government, who we all had very high hopes for, think that we're going to sit down and allow NAD or this government or this minister and a very duplicit road traffic controller to come and push stuff on us that we know. You see, because first of all, we are public service drivers. We are providing a service to NAD's clientele, these customers that come out of the airport. If NAD wanted to add a $1 to the taxi fare, fine, let them do it by way of the tickets or any other way, but don't involve us because...
But let's see if we can work out a compromise. How much money NAD wants the cab drivers to pay? Give me that.
Well, every passenger, every fare that you take from the airport, you are to pay them $1 for that.
Every fare?
That you take, every individual.
Each individual, they want $1?
Each individual, with each...
So if you have 10 people, how much money do they want?
No, not
each fare. So if I get 4 fares from NAD per day...
They want $4?
They want $4 from me.
But there's also a problem in that proposal.
What is it?
It means you could go to the airport and don't even get a fare because they want you to pay as you enter. So if you have a flat tire or an emergency or have to go for lunch, you could leave without getting a fare, and when you come back, you have to another $1 is debited to your account.
Let me ask you. Let's try to do a compromise because I'm a cab driver. I soon get my little taxi and I'll be back on the road. Now, can there be a compromise where we put that tax on the tourist them?
Well, that's what's going to happen.
Are they agreeing to this?
Whether they agree or not, you can't ask.
No. listen to my question. Have you counter-proposed? We'll pay the dollar, but
Well,
we will
let-
pass it to the tax.
Let me answer that to some degree because
tourists.
first of all, we have sent communications to the minister. Letter, I have a copy of it right here. Other cab drivers had tried to call to
Who? Which minister?
convene
is
a
it?
meeting. Frankie Campbell.
Okay.
And I'm very surprised and shocked the way Frankie Campbell
Well,
is,
Frankie's under a
is
lot of
behaving.
problem. He's trying to test. He's looking for evidence that he's a citizen. Don't forget now, this is a minister who is not a citizen of the Bahamas. You're in trouble.
The proposal that Nad sold Frankie, the day he visited the airport, he walked into the recreation room, and most cab drivers said they were happy to see him. He said, I'm not here for that. You all get a group together and come and see me.
He should kick y'all.
Well, he's doing a good job of that.
Frankie should kick y'all.
Well, he's actually doing that now.
Because when a politician walks in with that kind of arrogance, you ask him, you forget we just vote for you, eh? And you should tell the politician, Lequito mama.
Frankie understands Creole very well. He'll know we cussing him out. But in any event, what I'm trying to get across here is we sent him communications after communications trying to convene a meeting with him.
Did he answer?
No response.
Good jacks.
To no avail. And so we couldn't sit down and discuss the details of this dollar or to compromise or to be able to pass the dollar
he
to the
wouldn't talk.
passenger. So, no, he gone and meet with a bunch of cab drivers who does not represent the airport's view.
You know what that's
Okay.
called, right? Huh? Divide
And conquer.
and conquer.
Yes.
Let me talk to Frankie. Frankie, est-ce que vous vont? Est-ce que vous connaissez Jacques? Papa ni c'est haïtien? Ma connais Papa Jacques. Et Papa c'est haïtien. Jacques, did you tell Frankie?
Frankie knows me. Frankie knows me very well. We met on a couple of occasions. In fact, I met with Frankie twice already on another aspect of the transportation business, which is the public bus.
But I'm
jeepney.
disappointed that you were
Okay.
not able to solve this. You and Dr. Menace are so tight.
Well, I think I still have faith and hope that it's going to be solved.
Have you complained to
because
Dr. Menace?
if they don't resolve this, they're going to be met with great resistance
Man, I
from
don't believe you are.
taxi drivers.
Y'all have the balls that Sir Clifford Darling had in 1958 when he called a general strike and closed down the airport.
I think it's a little bit bigger than that.
You think y'all could do that?
Yeah. Absolutely. I have the
I'm going to bring you on after one of them leave.
I have the greatest amount of faith in the workers that the drivers that work at the airport.
And that you will close the
And
airport down.
and I think they are ready. I think we have been through this. We have actually did something similar a couple of months ago, and they obviously believe that the taxi drivers are divided because they often speak to the representative from the union, which is Mr. Philip Watkins.
Are y'all member of
Philip
Watkins Union?
No, really and truly, Brother Monica, you know how unions work. And the truth be told is, and it's only a matter of time, the union, that particular union, based on the way the law is written, really should be struck off the books because they have not lived up to their constitution.
Are you a member of Philip Watkins Union?
No, that union really doesn't even have...
Why is it that you men have not organized yourself?
Well, we are organized. That's why we're
That's
here.
what we're doing now.
That's
Exactly.
why we are representatives of the voice of the majority of drivers. Though we are not an official, established, registered organization, we are considered the voice of the drivers that work at the airport. The vast majority of drivers that go to that airport on a daily basis highly respects Nicholas Jacks, myself, Henry Smith, who was supposed to be here.
Formally put together your group because you need money.
Well, yes, and one of the other things that we are looking at and that has been silently discussed is we are seeking to engage the services of an attorney to ask for a judicial review on this matter because over the last 5 years that NAD has been operating that airport, they have also allowed a lot of illegal activities to happen.
What?
Persons are operating at the airport and they are not legitimate transportation providers.
How
i.e.,
is that possible when Sir Clifford Darling put an end to that in 1958? What kind of wightless men are the taxi drivers? Do
But-
you not know your history?
But Monka, you got to appreciate that the same party that Sir Clifford Darling was a part of is the same party that created this anomaly at the airport.
Then you
They-
were supposed
so-
to put to the party and say to the party is meeting in convention. You could petition the party now. You got 2 more days.
Yeah.
You could say to the party, we vote your backsides out because this is what you colluded with.
Yeah.
And remind them of their history. And of course, Brother Jacks and Dr. Minnis, they're very good friends. Jacks, why you've not taken the Wakers to see Dr. Minnis?
Well, that's eventually is going to happen. And you know the sad
Oh,
part.
you ain't effing them no more.
Yeah. Yes, I'm an F&M, and I'm a supporter of Frankie Campbell as well. But this is bread and butter fight now. So I'm not going to confuse my politics with my bread and butter. Frankie Campbell bread is buttered and got sausage and lettuce and tomatoes on it.
You got crisis.
All I
though.
want is some butter on mine, okay?
Frankie
But-
got crisis.
But like I said, the thing it is, Frankie, I believe he's being misguided. I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses for him because Frankie is a novice. First of all, he's being misguided by the permanent secretary who is carrying out the former minister's agenda. Okay, so because he's a novice, he was following whatever advice she gave him. And one of the things she did is she allowed livery car drivers who are supposed to operate from their place of business to stand on that door at the airport toe-to-toe, head-to-head with taxi drivers, operating like taxi drivers with a completely different franchise. The franchise they have is clearly stated in the Road Traffic Act how they should operate. But they're on the door soliciting more than taxi drivers. It's against the law for taxi drivers to solicit.
Did you write the relevant authorities and draw it to their attention, Jacks?
Of course, I just deliver a letter to the minister, and I copy one to the prime minister, and I give NAD a copy. Okay, but we've been doing this over the years, over and over.
Do you know that NAD doesn't have a clear policy? We did a sting operation on them.
Yes, and NAD make up the rules as they go.
We did a sting operation.
Yes,
That's interesting because, we have lost revenue in excess of, I would say, perhaps over the cost of 4 years, more than $500,000. The taxi drivers that work from that airport. When you look at the jobs that were taken or stolen from us, because really, this government is amazing how governments operate. You're hauling former politicians before the court for wrongdoing, but you are enabling.
No. Don't say it like that. For alleged
Well,
wrongdoing.
yeah, but
All right.
now you're doing the very same thing by
Because
allowing.
there's been no evidence produced.
But you're allowing individuals to operate at the airport doing the very same thing, wrongdoing. It's not right. It is against the law. This government is allowing, they're colluding with NAD.
You mean the F&M?
Exactly. This is the government that's been in power since May 2nd.
The government that
Ken.
Dr. Minnis say will be transparent and accountable.
What is so transparent if you're allowing people to operate outside the guidelines of their franchise and they are standing on the airport door, misrepresenting themselves to visitors, offering transportation service that their franchise don't allow them to do? If you want to book a private car service when
Well,
you
let's
travel,
close down the airport. When you want to close down the
Can we
airport?
do
well, we have it scheduled for November 1st because that's where they intend to implement this dollar.
November
and that's
1st.
when the stuff can hit the fan. Yeah, we decide.
Have you contacted the international media?
Well, not as yet, but we're gonna, we still have a few days.
You
to
have
do
your
that.
Facebook page. America needs to know. I have thousands of people in America. Listen, they're treating the Negro taxi drivers badly. And their ancestors closed down the airport in 1958. If I remember it correctly, it might have been February 22nd, 1958. If I'm wrong, then it's January. But I believe it was February. And you men, why don't you all tell me something? Let me come and lecture you all on the history. Goodness me.
All I can say, the new minister is going to be in for a rude awakening. If we think he can meet with some cab drivers who does not even represent the true representation of the airport workers and think that he met with us, he refused to meet
Do
with
you
us.
know his history?
Not exactly.
But let me tell you his history.
But
He come from a history of Tonton Makut. Tonton Makut. But Frankie, my best man knew, Bukone Mapsoti IT. This is powerful. Jacks, what y'all gonna do, man? Y'all have been oppressed all these years. What are y'all going to do?
Yeah, obviously it looked like as if it's going to be a repeat of 1958.
Wow.
Because we're not going to sit by idly and allow NAD to push $1 on us.
But before you do
That-
it, why don't you go see the Prime Minister?
Well,
I know he has a particular liking for you, Brother Jacks. Go see him.
Well, I will try that since you suggested, and
Of course.
it's a good suggestion to see him because I'm not sure if this, whether the minister.
Do we have the picture with Brother
Inform.
Jacks and the Prime
Inform.
Minister meeting secretly in the back of RYK? Y'all got that there? Goodness, these bunch of F&Ms in here.
But Ivanka, you know what is also so fascinating?
What
You
is
have
fascinating?
a operator that operated in the airport since the inception of the new buildings.
Okay.
And this was a concessionaire, a person that operated one of the stores and whatnot. Racked up over $3 million.
Be careful,
No, well, I'm
because
going
the F&M lied. And there was an agreement. Listen to me. There was a confidentiality agreement where no government, in consideration of a settlement, was to ever reveal the con thereof. So I have to warn you because
Yeah, he hasn't called anybody name. Allow him to make his point.
I'm going to let him make his
Allow him
point
to
because
make-
I just wanted to know that Wayne Monroe is listening and he's representing them people.
Okay.
All right? But you may talk.
But I'm saying, you know, there was this individual that supposedly racked up $3 million in tenants fee, and you know,
But that
you're
isn't
gonna
true.
you're gonna
I have to correct you. That is not true. They mischarged the tenant. And when the tenant discovered, it is like what BTC was doing to me. And when I discovered how they was charging me wrongly, I told them, we ain't got a row. I want a Samsung 8. And they can keep all the money. And they were happy to give me a Samsung 8 and $20 worth of minutes. So I'm saying to you that the accused is innocent. Their problem is she is black and PLP. But she was innocent. Take it from me. I know plenty secrets.
I believe you.
Go ahead.
The damage already been done to her. I don't know how she could. What kind of damage control is she going
When
to be able
you
to
damage
on her
people,
character now?
what you do after you damage?
Court, sue,
You
take
pay
out
compensation.
civil matters. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, in addition to all of this, the livery car drivers, you know, they're allowed to break the law. Okay, through the former minister Glennis Hannah Martin, and the new minister came into power and is allowing the same thing to happen. You know, when he first came and he made his inaugural speech that I'm here to fix the transportation industry, I was so happy because I realized those livery car drivers would be moved
I
off the
don't
front
know
door
why
of
you
the
are
hotels
happy.
and the airport.
You would recall
I had confidence in
that in
Minister
2016,
Campbell.
I had a match. And he showed up with a big long gun. Frankie Campbell. Corporal Frankie Campbell. And you remember I complained to you, I said, listen, Frankie is not safe. He's not a true Democrat. And every time I think of Frankie, he reminds me of the Tonton Makuts. Now I want you, Jax, as a senior man in the country, to talk to Dr. Minnis. All right?
I will do that perhaps tomorrow sometime
Go and
because
see him.
this is a serious matter, and I don't think they should allow this to get to the point where it'll cause civil unrest
But
in the country.
I don't want no
Civil
unrest.
disobedience.
Talk first.
It shouldn't reach to that point.
You go to the
this
Prime
is a new
Minister.
government. Yes, I'm going to seek an audience with him sometime tomorrow, and depends on the outcome of that meeting.
You go see Papa. Who's all nonsense? If Minnis don't do it, Papa. Who going? Who going? Because I can bring on the next cab driver.
Papa don't have no influence over
Stop
Minnis
saying
government.
that. Papa, you heard what Jack say?
You say. You say.
Stay right here until it's over. Papa, forgive Jax. He's a good man. Good man, Papa. This is Freedom March. We'll be right back in a minute.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live from ILTV studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. Brother Jax has... Well, what has Brother Jax done? He's disappeared for a few moments, and I'm now being joined by another taxi colleague. So let me welcome Brother Terry Duncombe. Brother Duncombe, welcome to Freedom March.
It's good to be here, Rodney, on your show.
This is powerful. I prefer you not to look at me. Look at the camera so the people them could see. So you've been sitting in the studio, Duncombe. You are a cab driver, am I correct?
You're right.
And you do work from Linden Pinlings International Airport.
Yes, I do.
And you know that Pinling, Randall Fox, Clifford Darling, and others in 1958 closed down the island and closed down the airport, which is now known as Linden Pinlings Airport.
Yes, Mr. Monk, I have a good recollection of that history moment.
This is
in the
powerful.
Bahamas.
Well, having Pinling, Hannah, Randall Fox, and the then president of the taxi cab union, the late Sir Clifford Darling, they brought justice to the airport. What is wrong with you generation of cab drivers not safeguarding and preventing the Philistines from committing the same act of treachery against your living? Why are you not doing anything about it?
Well, Mr. Monk, as you can see now that there are some concerned drivers, like myself, Nicholas Jacks, Mr. Butler, and others at the airport. We're going to do something about it the same coming November the 1st.
You're going to do something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What you thinking of?
Well, Mr. Monko, whatsoever it takes for us to be respected, whatsoever it takes for us to get our voice out there and our message out there to the present government
And to
protect our interests, our business. Our business. You know, they seems to every 6 months you have to go and make sure you get your car inspected. Every year you get a business license. You know, those things that are required of us. But they doesn't seem to respect us. And we need to put a stop to it.
Well, I want to suggest to you as a colleague that before you carry out industrial action at the airport, that you will go and see Prime Minister Hubert Minnis.
Well, Rodney, that's a good suggestion. And hopefully we can see Mr. Minnis, you know, because Mr. Campbell, we sent him a letter before the hurricane. We also send the minister of his permanent secretary. We also send the controller. We also send the president of the union, who doesn't have our interests at heart. All right? And we send them, and none of them reply to us.
But
none of them
let's go
send a
through
reply
stages.
to
Let's
us.
start with stages. The president of the union, Philip Watkins, replied to your letter.
Well, I sat down with Philip, and he gave me one bunch of nonsense. In fact, I called him on the
I want you
day.
to answer my question. Did he reply to your letter?
No, sir.
He did not.
No, sir.
Did the PS, the permanent secretary, is that a Mrs. Ambrister?
Yes, sir.
Did she answer your letter?
No, she didn't.
Did the Minister of Transport, Frankie Alfred Campbell, did he reply?
No, sir.
Okay, so you see what kind of Negroes you all are dealing with.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, I can say that I remember speaking to President Watkins about this matter when it first came up, when they were trying to charge for the transponders. And he then, back then, this was a couple of years ago, said he didn't see nothing was wrong with it, and so he condoned it. His
Are
thing
you
was,
a member
yes,
of Mr. Watkins
yes,
Union?
yes, on
Okay.
financial at the time, but yes, I am a member.
This is powerful. Go
And
ahead.
at the same time, Mr. Watkins have shown no desire to resolve this matter. And we have had many conversations with him on this matter. We've had conversation with the former minister. But you see, Brother Monka, let me just say this, and I
Go
want to
ahead,
look into the
comrade.
camera.
Go ahead, comrade.
My dad drive taxi 206.
Okay.
So I'm a second generation of cab drivers. I just got into this business. And if this government or any government thinks that we are going to sit idly by when they are about to trample on our rights as individuals, they're mistaking
As
our reach
individual and as citizens.
as citizens.
Yes.
And I want them to know our reach is very long. Our arms are very wide. We will blanket you. Don't take us for granted.
But you all have demonstrated so far that you all have been pusillanimous. Are you pusillanimous?
This time, it's for real.
Really?
This time, it's
Yes,
for real.
Mr. Monko.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
They are. If that's fine if they're underestimating us, but you will see
You're not
something.
pusillanimous.
You will see something. If this matter is not resolved before the 1st of November, they will see the other side.
But before they see that, I want to suggest negotiation. Go see the Prime Minister because you may have to remind him. What time is it?
Well, it's the people's time, but I
time.
want to also say too. You know who's been noticeably absent, and part of it is our fault too, is that we have not sought to engage the Minister of Tourism, because part of this whole dilemma really falls under his portfolio.
Okay.
It's an industry that he represents, and I think we should have. And in fact, I mentioned it to Brother Jacks earlier, maybe last week sometime. We need to go and engage the Minister of Tourism because this ultimately affects our tourist product,
Okay.
and we don't want to destroy this product. But we may be at that point in this country where we need to crash this industry and start over. Because
What do you mean when you say crash this industry? Because this is revolution you're talking. Let me hear.
But wasn't 1958 a revolution?
Of course.
So,
But, Mr. Monka, if this doesn't happen, let me tell you what will happen at the airport. We are having whereby taxi drivers, tour drivers are clashing.
They're fighting?
Clashing in front of the guests for a job.
These the white people there?
no.
Well, the tourists are white or black. They are actually fighting. When the officer of road traffic said that these folks need a taxi, what happens is that as the people comes across the pedestrian zone, you'll have the tour driver say, would you like an SUV or would you like a Lincoln? You know, now these people have already asked for a taxi.
Yeah.
Why are you asking them
If
if
they
they
want-
want a limousine or SUV?
I don't understand y'all.
So then you have words clashing in the presence of the.
You have to
of-
say
of-
to the other
of
fellow,
guests.
you see these white tourists here? They for me. And you tell the white tourists, come in my car. If they're going to act stupid. Because at the end of the day, you got to make a living.
But Rodney, another thing I want to share. NAD's supposed to be the operators, the managing company of the airport.
Right.
All right. NAD is allowing these very same persons to be in the foyer area,
You know
soliciting
Yeah.
in the foyer
These
area.
are not Bahamians. Cursed be the day when government bring in foreigners to have that kind of control.
Yeah,
But the sad thing,
Do you know
but the
that?
sad thing about it is that our road traffic officers, which supposed to be governing both taxi drivers, both tour drivers, are allowing this to exist until after the taxi drivers see that, hey man, they're allowing these tour drivers in there. Let's go in there too. Then they want to stand up and say, hey, everybody come out. It's too late.
It's too late.
It's too late.
But
You know, and then the persons with signs that are in the airport that are welcoming their guests. All right, there is an area on the outside. There were 2 rails on both sides of the airport door, whereby you stand at the airport door with your sign.
With your sign.
And you welcome your guests. You act, you show their name and then you welcome your guests.
Right.
They are actually in the lobby area. So when their guests don't come, what they do, they take a job out of the airport
It's corruption.
and give it to either the tour driver or their driver. It's supposed to be a place whereby when the guests come and they don't have this harassment. They don't see
agree
this
with
kind
you.
of conduct and behavior.
I agree with you.
But Brother Monka,
Go ahead, Brother Butler.
NAD is really just a company, but that company is being run by Bahamians.
Really?
Yeah,
What people? That company is managed by Canadians.
No, Brother Monka.
Which Negro you think running that?
Bernice Watkins
Man,
is
stop
the,
talking
is
nonsense.
the president and the old
Wendy's
vice
who
president.
came from the Ministry of Tourism?
Yeah, she's the chief on children.
That's the big fat woman?
No, she's not big. She's a beautiful lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Beautiful
she's not
dark
big.
lady.
No,
Yes,
no.
beautiful dark lady.
But she
That's
she
what it
is,
is.
She is
I have
the
to look at my file.
she-
Watch out for her.
and
Hold on a second. When she was in the Ministry of
tourism.
Tourism, I had to bail up her backside.
Well, she is
can
the
look for a
person.
file.
She is the person that is supposedly in charge of NAD. Then Miss Colby, you got some other individuals, but you also have the Nassau Airport Authority, who is appointed by the government, the Airport Authority, the board.
Have you spoken to?
And they are Bahamians. These are local Bahamians.
Have you spoken to him? Have you spoken to Nesbitt Higgins? Is he still on the board?
I don't know.
Have you spoken to what's the man named Jax who used to sell the peanut? You remember the one peanut case out in 1980 something? Not Ronald Sims. Derek Sims. Have you spoken to Derek?
I don't even see him.
They refuse to
You
meet
tell
her.
me that you don't know, don't call the place, secretly where Higgins can be found, Nesbitt Higgins?
But it shouldn't take that. All these
These
people
are
ought to
Negroes
do.
you're dealing with.
But the law is still the law, Brother Manka.
It's a lawless country.
And it is
It is a lawless
it is obvious. But when you find that public service drivers are now being humiliated to this level, it speaks a lot about the leaders in the country.
Yes.
And so what we are very concerned about is that there's this, this cutting down of the smaller man, and this cannot be right in this day
Terry
and time.
Duncan must remember when Deputy Prime Minister Frank Watson, on behalf of the people named the little boat, stopped the cruise ship from giving us the job to take them to Paradise
That's right.
Island.
That's right.
Y'all
That's right.
keep forgetting
You're right.
the history.
You're right,
You remember
Mr.
when
Monk.
Watson met with us?
Yes.
And Watson justified why,
why.
the Donkey Jordan should have all the jobs.
But
And
Mr.
y'all continue
But
not
Mr.
to do anything.
But Mr. Monka, the very NAD, getting back at NAD, the very NAD that's supposed to be managing this airport doesn't have, after 5 o'clock, nobody to control the traffic, to control nothing at that airport. And let's not forget the road traffic road traffic people, because they have been very unprofessional in the way that they do things.
Yeah.
All right. They would encourage these tour drivers, whereby if we have a particular officer, when the guests come out, she say, "Would you like a taxi or a tour car?" Where does she have that right?
She has no authority, but
Where
that
does she have
happens
that right?
because you men refuse to organize yourself. If you don't want to be a part of the taxi cab union, you need a disciplined organization. That is what is lacked. And those who are more sophisticated than us cab drivers, they are able to exploit the disunity. So you will forever be in this problem until you discipline yourself, organize yourself, and be ready to carry out political action.
I went to the manager of the grounds and transportation at NAD, and I said to them,
Who is that Negro?
that's Miss her name is Enfield, the lady that we had the meeting with.
Okay.
And I said to her, we just came out of a meeting just days ago. We have the same thing. The drivers are back in the foyer area. She said, well, you know, that's a public area. I said, that's not a public area to solicit though. She said that, well, that's road traffic job.
That's
all right.
her.
So I said, that cannot be road traffic job if NAD is the managers of this airport. And then I went to road traffic. Road traffic's just leaving NAD, leaving the lady, went to the road traffic, and he's going to tell me that's NAD's business. So they are playing games.
Of course.
They're playing games with us. And at 8 o'clock at night, there is no road traffic officer.
Wow.
There is no police. There is no one to
Hold
govern
on.
NAD's
Hold
door.
on. Lisa Johnson from the United States Embassy. You hear what my Negro brothers are saying? Not go home. The police go home. And road traffic go home. These Negroes are not committed to an area that is very sensitive. No wonder all
right.
the dope
That's right.
and cocaine
That's right.
and guns
They leave it
and
unattended.
bullets are coming through Linden Pendleton Airport.
Leave it unattended. Leave it unattended after 5 o'clock.
My God.
Unattended.
That's a bit far.
What I said?
Yeah,
Oh, no. I was working the airport when they took me on the runway. And as the plane landed and they were offloading, I don't know what they were offloading, but I know no customers there. Let me tell you what I did. I put my straw hat over and I lay low. And I said to myself, what a gangster country. Don't challenge me, my brother.
No, we was
Don't
only,
challenge
we
me.
Were, no, we were
because
only.
I
we were only
gotta tell
concerned.
you,
We were speaking to our environment that we work in on the outside.
But a greater security.
Yeah,
Because if there's no police,
That's right.
Oh, I hear you.
be careful of me. Because Hubert Ingram and Perry Christie are alive. And I send them what I would call a state security analysis of something that is going on at the airport.
Mr. Monkey, you know when they're going to address the situation is when you find the taxi driver and the tour drivers having a fight and blood is spilled over the place
No
and
blood.
the tourists are running from
No
the
blood.
fight.
I don't want to.
That's what's going to happen
I
though.
know, but there should be no blood.
And we have been trying to prevent this. We have been to the authorities to prevent this.
I don't want them white tourists seeing any blood.
But you
Okay.
know, Brother Monka, again though, it goes back. You know, here came Dr. Minnis and his party some 5-6 months ago saying we are ready to govern this country. The Bahamian people said, we believe you. We are sick and tired of this government. You know, we want to give you the opportunity, an overwhelming mandate.
Yeah.
A mandate like we've never seen perhaps before. And right out of the gate, not even a year, look at what is happening to the small man, to the people who are on the front line of the country's main economy.
They do not like.
This is an egregious and the most disrespectful thing that any government could do to people who are the national ambassadors, taxi drivers.
Listen,
You know,
they don't like black people.
you know.
I want you to listen to something I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
Because you are a black man.
But we are our leaders.
They do not like, listen to me, they do not like black people.
And they are black.
Don't mind they're black. They do not. Just watch what is taking place. If your dignity as men, as citizens, are being threatened in the manner, what is Minnis doing about it?
True.
What is he doing it?
That's true.
Take it from me. They don't like black people.
Well,
They do not like
maybe
black
we
people.
should get you to go because you're a little bit lighter than
No,
us.
no. They don't like us. We are Negroes. They don't like us. Just watch their policy. Just watch their talk. Watch the fact that you wrote. There was a UBP man by the name of the late Sir Stafford Sands and the late Oscar Johnson, who was a member of Parliament for Cat Island, told me that when you write Sir Stafford, he does not leave his office unless he replies. These Negroes, they don't like us. They don't they don't reply to our letters, and when they see us, they really want to duck us.
But
We're
Rodney,
in trouble.
Rodney, I want to also make mention that there was a letter that was sent to the Prime Minister also. It was CC to the Prime Minister. All those persons I've called earlier, we made sure CC him to let him know that we are requesting an audience with your minister.
Listen,
And your minister have not called us as yet.
do you recall when Mr. Minnis and his cabinet went to Bahama. You remember that? When the white man spoke bad to them? Huh? You forget what happened? And that couldn't happen to Pinling. That couldn't happen to Pinling. Annan would have been told that he had until sunset to leave the Bahamas. These Negroes,
Son said you were supposed to have the security say, follow me.
these
right then.
Negroes, these are incompetent people. And that's what's going on. But you'll need to stand strong.
Rodney, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, comrade.
Should our leaders obey the Road Traffic Act?
They are to obey the law.
And the act says in 224 says that section 78 says that the tow cars are to have their business supposed to be operated from their office.
And
All
nobody's
right,
obeying that.
not at the airport,
These are gangsters.
not coming at the door,
If they-
holding up a sign and saying taxi
If they-
or tow car or this or
it is
that.
bad.
You know, and the law is there. So the prime minister, the minister of transport, the road traffic controller, all they need to do is follow the law, Rodney.
You got 4 minutes.
That's all they need to do is follow the law.
Wrap up.
Yeah, but you know, also,
But they're rebelling against the law.
But
Look at
also
the clock and wrap up.
we got a law that says any yellow marking that the minister has designated a public space is public space. So when we park in those yellow parking spot that says taxi, that is considered public space. So at the end of the day,
I'm going to do you all a favor. What are you all doing Thursday?
we're available to meet with you, sir.
Well, 8 o'clock, I'm having dinner with noted attorney Wayne Monroe QC. I'm going to have you all join me. Jacques will tell you all secretly where we shall be. And come with your question. Wayne Monroe, these are the descendants of the 1958 men who closed down Lyndon Pinling's airport. I need you to help them because they are being oppressed by NAD. And we have to show the FNM that they have to respect the rights of our citizens and ensure that NAD does not exploit them. When I ask you, nationally, speak with my 3 Negro brothers, Brother Butler, Brother Duncombe, and Brother Jacques. Take one of these flags, OE. Y'all can hold flags, or y'all is Jehovah Witness?
Come on,
Give him one. Jacques, come in the back of the camera. Give me some music to send the cab drivers off. Jacques, you stand here. Right there. This is powerful. Hold the flag. This is powerful. Y'all know how to be patriotic?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to tell the foreigners they will treat us, or we will close down the airport in
absolutely.
the people's name. Oh, yeah.
Respect.
It's all about the flag and it's all about the people. This is the people's
we will
time.
defend the country, eh?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Pinling said that if you do not stand up for the country,
You
you don't deserve
to have the
to have it.
That's it.
I almost said PLP all the way, but I'll say F&M.
It's the people's time.
What time is it?
It's the people's time.
Shake your flag. What time is it?
The people's time.
Us cab drivers, we're going to close the airport down and tell the American government to support us. Oh, yes.
Well,
Not. I want y'all to stop it. Cab drivers, rise up. The cab drivers,
we will rise up
rise up.
and we will be counted this time.
Rise up. Rise up, my people. Oh, solidarity.
Together we stand.
Yes. Go ahead, my brothers.
It's the people's
Wave the
time.
flag. Come on, Jackson. It's a rhythm. Come on, man. Stand up. Yes, Jackson.
If he had on the Valley Beat, Jax would have been able to dance,
This
man.
is true. We're going to stand up against the Philistine. They will either give us justice or we will close Lyndon Pinling's airport down. As simple as that. Taxi drivers, thank you for coming. And if you have more problem, come back. Oh, freedom!
Do you have something to say to the senator? Call Freedom March at 323-7775. Toll free from anywhere in the Bahamas at 242-300-0045. Freedom March with Rodney Monker, only on ILTV. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. Praise the Lord. My spiritual advisor is here. Spiritual advisor, Bradley Roll. Welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you, Mr. Monker.
I salute our group, Freedom March. Please forgive me. I've not been paying attention sufficiently to the group, but there was no malice aforethought. There is a constant struggle going on. So I salute those wonderful citizens who have continued to support me in our group, Freedom March. Please forgive me. I have a good explanation, but I don't want to say it now, but I salute you.
It's almost like a marriage, Mr. Monker. Sometimes you can't forget, those little things that you did when you first tried to get that woman's attention.
That is true.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
sometimes you forget those things, and before you know it, the woman gone.
Okay.
So love your people, eh?
I love my people.
All the supporters of Freedom March.
Okay, all the supporters of Freedom March. Okay?
Even the Freedom March chat group. You've
I
not.
was talking with the Freedom March chat group.
Okay, good.
But, folks, today I took possession of another document to support my case against Minister Frankie Campbell. You will note that in today's Guardian, the Prime Minister has suggested that there are documents that are being circulated, affidavit, he say, which is fake. Now, the only person I'm aware of who has Frankie's affidavit on Facebook is C.A. Nuri. And when I read his affidavit and compare it with the certified copy issued to me by the Registrar General of the Bahamas, I can assure the nation that that is not fake. You see, I have it. And Menace has to be very careful that he does not cause me to attack the integrity of the Registrar General's office. And I want the public to know that this is not fake. Ignore the Prime Minister. I'm also in possession of a document that will identify who is Edwin Campbell's daddy. So if Edwin is Frankie Pa, then Frankie Grandpa is Johnson Campbell. Edwin Campbell is the son of Johnson Campbell. And I have a document which tells us that Frankie's father was born in Haiti. I have the document. That is why I'm trying to raise $5,000 to hold an exhibition so that you can come and see the document which is notarized and certified either by the Registrar General of the Bahamas and or a deputy registrar. I want to read what Dr. Minnis has to say in the Nassau Guardian, because I think that Dr. Minnis is politically dishonest. God forgive me for saying that the Prime Minister of the Bahamas is politically dishonest. For me to be in possession of 2 certified copies of the affidavit of Frankie Campbell, and Minnis is suggesting that these are illegal. They're not. The problem that exists in the Bahamas is the press, the newspaper are grossly incompetent, because all they need to do is to approach me and I shall show them where the document has been certified by the Registrar General. I have also added to the list a document that will tell us who is Frankie Grompa. By the time I'm finished, Frankie is going to have a wonderful genealogical information on his paternal father. So Minnis is grossly irresponsible. And if the Nassau Guardian wants to see it, I'll be willing to show it to them. If the Tribune wants to see it, I'm willing to show it to them. Everybody in the media. So this is not fraudulent, meaning that someone made this up. This is the affidavit that Frankie Alfred Campbell lodged for record on the 2nd of May, 1983. So there's no fraud, and Minnis is politically dishonest. There it is. And here is where it has been certified by the Registrar General of the Bahamas. All right? So that is the seal, where the Registrar General certified this as being from the records. Okay? Then all the birth certificates that I have in my possession, I've requested that either the Registrar General and or an Assistant Registrar General certify the authenticity of the document. All right? So there's no fraud here. These are certified. And if C.A. Nuri, the Negro former student of St. Augustine College, wants to reproduce them, take certified copies from me. These are certified. Take it from me. All right? No matter what ministers tell you, Frankie cannot prove that he was born in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We lived through this before. We saw it in the case of the late Sinclair Oaten. Penman didn't do what Menace is doing. Menace is being pusillanimous. Penman was never a man who was pusillanimous. You give Penman a pussycat, he will pat the pussycat. But when it comes to pusillanimous, Penman was never pusillanimous. So we have the document here. All of these documents are certified in accordance with the law. All of these. I've told the Negro staff who signs at times for the registrar that they're not going to be able to do that because these are certified copies. And all I'm doing is producing the evidence so that the Bahamas and the world will see that this is a gangster country. All right? It's a gangster country. It's a gangster country. So let's see what the Prime Minister has to say. All right? All I got is certified documents because I have an appreciation for the Registration of Record Act. And I don't want nobody to say, you ain't got a certified copy. And by not accepting the proper certification of these documents by the Registrar General, who Carl Bettel, the Attorney General, is her boss. So she certified it in accordance with the law. I got 2 other set of documents to be certified, but these things are expensive. And it's a poor man. All right? Got to pay a little light bill. Got a woman who got to go to the hospital up and down. You got to try and find little money and so forth. All right? But the documents will show that Frankie cannot establish that he was born in the Bahamas. I'm not opposed to Frankie being in the house, you know, but the law is clear. So let's see what Minnis has to say, because it's interesting. I have other information, but I'm not going to deal with it today. Let's see what Minnis say. Minnis suggests circulated affidavit is fake. To the media, you could come, you could call me, and I'll show to you that these are certified copies. Okay? And if he doesn't be careful, he doesn't know what kind of man I am. I shall advance an argument that internationally will undermine the credibility of the Registrar General's Department. So he better be careful, because I am going all the way. Now, Prime Minister, this is the Nassau Guardian. Prime Minister Dr. Eumenidis yesterday warned, quote, of fictitious things that can be circulated on social media, as he again asserted that Transport and Local Government Minister Frankie Campbell is as much of a Bahamian as I am. Minnis' comments came after Attorney Wayne Munro, after Attorney Wayne Munro told the media that he's looking into challenging in court whether Campbell's citizenship can be rightly established. Frankie Campbell is a Bahamian, full stop. Said Minnis, while at Gambia Primary School, we have no argument, no discussion. You see how ignorant the Prime Minister is? He has, unless they have been able to backdate, and I don't mean the Prime Minister, I'm talking about a gangster. Unless they found a gangster to put on his mother's medical file that which the hospital could not find for a generation. There's no record of it. No record whatsoever. And the secret to all of this lies in two churches. My church, the Catholic Church, and the Anglican Church. The secret lies there. They don't know what kind of Negro I am. When people begin to question my integrity, I bring out documents that I really don't want to bring out. All right? And so let me continue this reading so that you, my Negro people, will recognize that the Prime Minister is playing game. And I want Carl Bettel to know that what he said about Wayne Munro not taking the case is professionally immoral. Wayne, don't misunderstand this, because I'm going to tell Carl something. I know of a situation involving Wayne Munro and your office, and I don't play. I believe that Wayne Munro is a man of integrity, but Carl made a slip. Got to watch out for me. And Carl, it is professionally immoral. And I may sit down tomorrow and write his lordship the Chief Justice. Some of you Negroes are not supposed to hold office because you can't control your emotions. You can't. The Attorney General is supposed to remain independent. And your sweetheart should be the law. That's how it's supposed to be. But you are supporting this man, so I can't wait to get to court. But I shall go to court when I think it is the right time. In the meantime, I'll be producing documents. So I want Frankie to know that his granddaddy is Johnson Campbell. Isn't that powerful? His granddaddy is Johnson Campbell. If Edwin Campbell is Frankie daddy, the document tells me that Edwin Campbell's father is Johnson Campbell. Now, how did Edwin make that mistake? Edwin, having come from Haiti, and English not being his natural tongue, when he heard Johnson, he didn't recognize that Johnson was a surname. So he gave his daddy the first name, Johnson, Johnson Campbell. The evidence is here. And any FNM, I'm prepared to show it to you so you can see it for yourself. I ain't coming on no national TV to claim that I have documents which I do not have. I have the document. And every day, documents are coming in. I now have the obituary of certain Negroes who is believed to be related to Edwin Campbell. I got it. But I'm studying it. I put it on the side. I want to be objective. And it's so exciting as we build this case to show that Menace should stop embarrassing Frankie. Help Frankie. Give Frankie his little citizenship. All right? And let Frankie do a deed poll. And Carl should know better than this. Carl, be careful. You don't cause me to miss and say things that you and I would regret. You're a good man. Be objective. You know me. You know me. I'm the same man that you had the confidence in when you gave me proper documents to take elsewhere. Watch out. Your memory are too short. If I was competent and honest to do that which you have asked me to do lawfully in your private practice, why you won't question anything without saying to me, show it to me. I'm the same man. You see how small the society is? I'm the same man. When they give you bogus document and you complain, when I came to see you and I said to you, Carl, I can get you the right document. I can get you the right. Let him deny it. Watch how I told you some weeks ago how the Haitian little girl, he couldn't get into school. I told you about that, and he didn't deny it. I'm now going to tell you that I did some work for him when he had a problem, when crooks and gangsters thought they could take advantage of him, and I stepped in, and I ensured that he get the proper document, because I know how to do little search, and I know how to talk to people and say, oh no, don't do that to Carl. Carl is a good man, and he's entitled to have that which is proper. But these Negroes forget. So we have ministers talking about all this nonsense. This is the same prime minister who on the 9th of June this year unlawfully wrote me and accused me of not complying with the Public Disclosure Act. And then what has happened? He's appointed a Public Disclosure Commission in which he has two holy men and a PLP fellow, Miles LaRoda, who is a PLP. He's the chairman. Then he has Bishop Gregory Colley, and he has Bishop Morris from Zion Baptist Church. And those three Negro officials have not responded to my letter. And guess why? Menace has not given them proper accommodation for them to sit down. All right? But Miles Loretta, I'm coming to the PLP convention to tell the PLP and all them stalwarts they should make you resign, because you should have written me the letter so we could show the nation that Menace is politically dishonest. But Morrison say he's safe. Every Sunday, he stand up in Zion Baptist Church preaching. But he ain't answered the letter yet. You hear me? Morris is the man. They caused me to go to the wrong funeral. Do you know they had me at the wrong funeral? Got to a funeral, Morris started weeping. Man, he could holler. And then after a while, I was so saddened because I thought that the woman whose funeral I came to was the woman he was crying over. And I never discovered that that was the wrong woman until they was about to lay the woman in the grave. They all got me mad. I don't mind coming to people's funeral. But Morris cried so much, and I thought it was the woman who my uncle married to her daughter. And I started hollering when I saw Morris fall out. You know what it is? To weep for a whole hour, and then afterwards, you discovered that you were crying for the wrong person. Morris them can get me mad and make me talk all kind of secret. All right? There I am in the funeral. I'm so sad. They come over to me. They give me sympathy. I say, listen, my uncle, wife, mother. And everybody started crying. I tried to be strong. Then Morris started hollering. And as he hollered, I was overcome. And it was not until after the funeral that I discovered, when they were about to put the woman in the grave, they can cause me to run on, because I have good memory. Make me come to the funeral. I don't mind going to people's funeral, but I don't want to holler for nobody. And then I discover I hollered for the wrong person. I got Morris in still for that. All right? I really can't blame him. I shouldn't listen to the people them who tell me the woman dead. And I show up, and after that service, I mean, it was shocking. Right? It wasn't the woman. Boy, they treat me bad. Carl, stop it. Carl, stop it. Do not swear for Frankie. Give Frankie citizenship. Other than that, I'm going to have Wayne Munro go to court and ask the court to approve this. See, this isn't to get rid of Frankie, you know. I want the court to know. Court, with all this information that Frankie got, is this good enough for the rest of the Haitian people? Because the Haitian people are my people. But I want you to know what Minnis is doing. And I'm going to come back to this tomorrow. Because Minnis knows that the referendum rejected gender equality. We say who could get citizenship. Now Minnis is sneaking through the back door. I only want the people to know, Minnis think he's smarter than everybody. You're not smarter than everybody, Prime Minister. And you should stop it. Stop covering up for Frankie and come see the documents, and let's get Frankie paper straight. Let's get Frankie paper straight. I know his grandpa. His grandpa. His name was not Johnson Campbell in Haiti. His daddy was not Edwin Campbell in Haiti. And I want the public to know, I have a document. And if that Edwin Campbell is the man that Frankie claims is his daddy, in that document, which has been on record for over 55 years, Edwin say he was born in Haiti. You heard me? He know Carl should tell him. When Carl in problem, Carl sent for me. And I tell Carl, because you see, Carl did me all kind of favors. We were young. And we were all fighting pin in the PLP. And in a small society like this, people just do you a favor. That's what I don't like about this country. The country too small. Now, I'm going to give you another secret. I have some nephews and nieces who are Haitian. I bet you all didn't know that. Now one of the nephews come and say, Uncle, leave Frankie alone. So I said, what behind doing him nothing? He said, Uncle, you know, we's Haitian too, you know. I said, listen, yeah, I know that, but y'all born in the Bahamas. And y'all have citizenship. And my nephews, they're so Haitianized. If I don't be careful, they're upset. Uncle, man, don't do that. We are all Haitian. But if you see my nephews and my nieces, right? Carl, I think, met their sister. I'll tell you the trick I pull on Carl. They wouldn't put her in school. And she was like 5, mango skin. And I said to my sibling, I'm going to fix Carl. Get this child ready. Mango skin, candy curls. And I grabbed the child and I said in the back of the conference, I say, you see that man there? That's the Minister of Education. She say, Uncle, he white like me. I say, yeah, he white like you. And I'm going to give him to you. And I can walk away. And I walked to the middle, to the front of the conference. And I distracted him as he was speaking with hundreds of people. And I said, Carl Battle, this is my sibling daughter. I am not carrying her back. And I pass her. And listen, she is beautiful. And Carl was forced to take her. And I said to Carl, I shall not return for her until you put her in school. And Carl turned and said, listen, today she will be in school. And he told somebody to take me upstairs, and they put my sibling, beautiful daughter, in school. Carl, no, I don't mess around. Because I told him, I'm not taking her back. And she had a wonderful time because I taught her. I say, see, because you're Minister of Education, and don't be afraid. Say, Uncle, I ain't going to be afraid. Okay? So, Frankie, I'm not against you. All them Haitian nephew and nieces, they're now nagging me. Uncle, uncle. I say, y'all stop saying uncle, all right? Don't mind. Y'all is half-breed. Y'all born in the Bahamas. So they ain't know. So when I tell you I am Haitian, all I got is Haitian family. And listen, I love my nephews and my nieces. And they're now telling me, Uncle, leave him alone. Goodness me. Oh, the blood of my nephews. They're trying to get me to be corrupt. But I shall. Uncle shall not. Okay? We want Frankie to be naturalized. And then we have a by-election. And then he can go back to the house. But he's not a citizen. But I got a document. Take it from me. Don't mind Minnis. If Minnis is man, he could come and see the documents. I'm hiding from him. I always hide from him. But a couple of times, he caught me off guard. So I'm going to keep the documents on me just in case he catch me off guard. So Frankie, just in case you didn't know, your grandpa is Johnson Campbell. But Father, it is your Campbell who must come forward. Come forward, Father, because Minnis and them, they're casing me out. They're trying to destroy my credibility. Oh, Father, y'all created Frankie Daddy. And Frankie Daddy created Johnson Campbell. I have a new document in addition to this certified copy. My people, I need to have an exhibition because Frankie knows that this is what he put on record. This is Freedom March. Frankie, stop it. Tell Minnis the truth because I shall not go away. This is Freedom March.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.